Good evening, beautiful people. My name is Jessica Rivera, and I am a proud daughter, a twin, an older sister, and a soon-to-be graduate of Bard Holyoke. My story doesn't begin in comfort or ease, but in the pain of growing up way below the poverty line in the projects. It begins in a place where many people often overlook it. Where I grew up, they called it a dead end. It wasn't just a name. It was a warning, a quiet resignation, a story written for you way before you had a chance to write and pick up the pen. It was a reality that shaped me into who I was, or rather how they labeled us and they counted us out. However, I was raised by a beautiful, single Puerto Rican mother who held our family together with grit and grace. Alongside my two sisters, we lived in the third floor of public housing. And while the world outside our door was rough, filled with violence, poverty, and fear, my mother made sure that inside our home, it was a different story. She turned our apartment into something straight out of a magazine, not because of money, but because of love. The furniture, the artwork, the polished figurines, they weren't just decoration, they were armor. They were reminders that dignity and beauty could still exist even when the world tried to strip that from us. But outside those walls, the world was unforgiving. Drugs, crime, hopelessness, they weren't abstract threats. They were part of our everyday life. Our hallways were stained with blood, and it was filled with the smell of urine. The parks too dangerous for you to send your children to. The promises made to our community, yet later forgotten. Still, my mother taught me something that never left me. Where you come from does not have to dictate where you're going. And even when the odds are stacked, even when the path feels impossible, I'd be lying if I said I always believed that. There were moments when it felt like I was running in place, like the world had made up its mind about people like me. And then one day, during my lowest moments, when what felt like the world's rejection was actually redirection, I saw a flyer with 3 words: women, college, free. That's all I really noticed. I'm sure there were more details. But as you can imagine, those words were in bold and the loudest. And so I called. I was definitely hesitant, skeptical. I canceled. I just didn't want to be let down by another system and something that sounded too good to be true. But Miss Pam, I'm looking for you now, Miss Pam. She's been looking, hey, there you go. But Miss Pam, she had a way about her. Quiet, gentle, steady. She didn't push. She simply reassured me that it was okay to be unsure and that I should still come to see for myself. And I almost didn't. I sat down, I filled out the intake form, and the questions hit me. They asked me about my goals, my dreams, and truthfully, I hadn't thought that far. When you grow up believing you might not see 25 years old, you don't spend a lot of time planning or dreaming. I was angry, overwhelmed, not at her, not at the world, maybe at myself, maybe at everything. But what really mattered is that Miss Pam didn't flinch. She listened, she waited, and with her calm presence, she gave me permission to feel it all without shame. That moment became a turning point for me, so I thank you, Miss Pam. At the care center, I found more than education. I found real people. People who saw beyond my past. People who speak life into you. People who greet you like Sally in the morning, like sunshine in human form. People like Maria, who make every room smell like fresh beginnings. With pride and rhythm. Like a team of warriors in disguise, I assume the staff at the care center must wake up ready to tackle each day and break down those walls that hold women back like me. The transformation didn't happen overnight, but brick by brick, belief by belief, they helped me rebuild the way I see myself, and I thank you. My mother taught me about love. The care center taught me about power. Not the kind you take, but the kind you build and share. They helped me understand that being quiet isn't as same as being voiceless. That education isn't just a ladder, it's a lifeline. And that we don't have to accept the way things are when we know deep down inside they can be better. Today I see a future I never imagined for myself. I see myself in boardrooms, classrooms, in spaces that once felt out of reach. I want to lead in the tech space where ethics and innovation can intersect. I want to be a thought leader, not just for success, but for justice. I want to be the one that makes that table bigger so many of us can sit, make more room. I want to open the doors wider so many of us can get through. And I wouldn't be me if I don't go rogue, and I apologize, Miss Una. So before I continue, I want to recognize these three incredible women, Miss Pam, Miss Ann, and Miss Una. If you ladies can please join me very quickly, I have something for you. Sorry. So I spent some time, like I have it, to make these very unique bracelets, and everyone who's actually contributed to my journey will receive one throughout now and the time I graduate. And it reads, "Thank you for lifting me higher." These bracelets are more than stone and string. It carries deep gratitude. Each natural stone represents the strength, patience, and wisdom you've shared with me. The airplane symbolizes the way you helped me soar, not just academically, but as a person. Thank you for your guidance, for believing in the potential that I have, and for letting me never forget the power of perseverance. You've helped shape my journey, and your impact will carry me forward and upward always. With the deepest respect and appreciation, I gift you ladies this. And that brings me to ask you something that I always wake up and ask myself. What do you want to be remembered for? Because at the end of the day, it won't be the titles, the money, or your accolades. It will be the lives you've touched, the people you show up for, the bridges you build in places that people look at as ruins. The building I grew up in is now torn down, replaced by progress, what they call progress. People drive down that area, have no idea what once stood there, no idea what it took to survive, to rise from there. But I remember, and I carry it with me, not as a burden, but as a badge, a quiet strength that reminds me of where I've been and where I'm going. I'm not sharing this for sympathy, but because the care center is something that can't be explained. It's something you have to experience for yourself. Thanks for investing in us, in our vision, for believing in people like us. But remember, there's many still waiting out there, waiting to be seen, to be rescued, to be given a chance. Because when you plant a seed of hope, even in the hardest soil, they grow. My mother planted those seeds. The care center helped them bloom. We are all living on borrowed time. I'm asking you to leave your mark. Make your numbered days count, because I sure am. Thank you for your time.
Wow. suggest